Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a piece that respected the loss of life of Charlie Kirk and did not dance on his grave, but rightly called him out for who he was and what it. I mean, one of the egregious aspects of the Charlie Kirk piece that to Ben Burgess and Megan Day's credit, like they did not do. It's a meaningful distinction. It's like they also talked about all the bad stuff that Charlie Kirk said. Ezra Klein did not. Mention. He was like, I disagree with a lot of what he said. New rule, here I am. I'm taking over from Bill Maher. New rule. If you feel compelled to write or say, I didn't agree with everything, you have to say what it was that you did and did not agree with.
Exactly.
Say it.
Including,
the second you're forced to say, well, I didn't agree with that virulent racism that he did. Then it might occur to you that the things that you did agree with, the color blue is pretty, are not really material to what's going on in the world.
Now, I mean, I do think it's a word, like, it's definitely relevant if you want to write a piece like, I didn't agree with everything he said. In fact, I find him, what he said and did reprehensible. And this is why it's a bad moment, or this is why it bodes badly for the left, or this is why it's a moment of whatever you want. But yeah, you don't have to be like, and he, I mean, someone tweeted this out the other day, forget who it is, someone who I really like on Twitter, about like Mahmoud Khalil was doing politics the right way. Like, is Ezra Klein going to write something about that?
Of course not.
Like, lend his voice to supporting someone who's still alive and who's facing deportation. And
of course not. By the way, I listened to this clip, Trevor Bilyeu's podcast, Champagne Sharks. They played a clip from Breaking Points in which Crystal and Sagar were talking about this. And I think Sagar says something about how, like, we were similar. We were in similar professional positions. And certainly I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said, but there are positions that we shared. And I hate to think that people would be like celebrating my death. Like the fact that, the response to Charlie makes me like kind of chills me, because I wouldn't want someone to respond to my death like that. And I remember I was thinking to myself, who cares if I, God forbid, die prematurely? I fully expect right-wingers who disagreed with me to be happy about it. And I don't give a shit. That's, of course. First of all, I'm dead. Why do I care? But like, second of all, like, of course that's what they're going to do. I don't expect them to be like praising me like, oh, Briahna Joy Gray did politics in exactly the right way. I don't want Jesse Waters to like be crying at my funeral. That's crazy to me. That's like that. That's why you feel kind of, I'm sorry, Sagar, I don't mean to be coming for you, but like, but that's why you feel, that's why you feel like you want to be reserved in your criticism of how he lived his life, because you're thinking of someone being negative about you and your death. I hate to break it to you. People who don't like you are not going to mourn that you died, and they might be kind of polite about it, but they will be having private conversations about all the things they disagreed with about you. And that's just how the world works. And it's okay. Like Charlie Kirk made a career out of mocking the death of Black men who had been killed.
Like George Floyd,
you know what?
right?
I don't agree with it, but that was his right to do. And it didn't stop him it didn't stop, considering how he would be talked about in his death, it didn't stop him from talking about other people irreverently in their death. So I don't get that. I just do not get that frame of mind.
So wait, I have a question, by the way. So Karen Attiah, right, who was fired.
Yeah.
She was fired because she tweeted, Black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. End quote. Charlie Kirk. This is what she said that they fired her for. The post accused my measured blue sky posts of being, quote, unacceptable, gross misconduct, and of endangering the physical safety of colleagues. Charges without evidence, which I reject completely as false. They rushed to fire me without even a conversation, claiming disparagement on race. And then she wrote, for everyone saying political violence has no place in this country, remember 2 Democratic legislators were shot in Minnesota just this year, and America shrugged and moved on. But I don't even understand, is the thing that they're mad at her about that Charlie Kirk didn't say Black women do not have the brain?
She says, and she wrote a whole piece about this. I only skimmed it. So I'm, but she says, I think she published the email that she got, the firing email, and it does not even cite that tweet as the reason why. However, it's widely believed that tweet is the reason why. And conservatives it's like with me on the eye roll, right? Like the Hill didn't say we fired you because of an eye roll, but it got, and I personally actually don't think it was about the eye roll per se. I think it was about the radar that I did the day before, which got a ton of views and which did the thing. Like Bill Maher, I think this was the one where Bill Maher had said like a very Islamophobic sentence. And I started the radar by reading it back, but put Jewish instead of Muslim.
Yeah.
And was like, obviously that would sound anti-Semitic. We all cringe at that, but that's what Bill Maher said. And so I think, frankly, and then that like immediately like they reposted a bunch of times. It's got over like 1 million views at this point, I'm sure. So they were like really pissed off, I think, about that. But they can control the narrative by saying it's about this thing and that thing was inappropriate. I think similarly with Karen, the conservative narrative is that she just was a journalist, misquoted, attributed something to Charlie Kirk that he didn't say. And that's like journalistically unethical, as though we all don't just retweet stuff all the time.
This wasn't a researched article also, right? Like this wasn't like
it's
she didn't quote him. Yeah.
Also, they could have said, take it down and apologize, but they didn't. They fired her because they wanted to fire her and they were looking for a pretext.
So yeah, she wrote, these are some other things that she wrote, I guess. Okay. So I wish I had hoped for gun control and then I could believe political violence has no place in this country, but we live in a country that accepts white children being massacred by gun violence, not just accepts, but worships violence. Political violence has no place in this country, but we will also do nothing to curb the availability of the guns used to carry out said violence. The denial and empty rhetoric is learned helplessness because the truth is America is sick and there's no cure in sight.
If you go to the top of her Twitter, she sends us her termination letter, which doesn't talk about Kirk. It says, I'm writing to inform you that the Post is terminating her employment effective immediately for gross misconduct. Your public comments on social media regarding the death of Charlie Kirk violate the Post social media policies, harm the integrity of our organization, and potentially endanger the physical safety of our staff. Among other requirements, the company-wide social media policy mandates that all employees' social media postings be respectful and prohibits posting that disparage people based on their race, gender, or other protected characteristics. So they're saying she's the one being a racist. They say the policy also reminds employees that everything they post is a reflection on the company and should not affect the integrity of the Post journalism. Your postings on Blue Sky, which clearly identifies you as a Post columnist about white men in response to the killing of Charlie Kirk, do not comply with our policy. For example, you posted, here we go. Refusing to tear my clothes and smear ashes on my face in performative mourning for a white man that espoused violence is not the same as violence. Where's the lie? And part of what keeps America so violent is the insistence that people perform care, empty goodness, and absolution for white men who espouse hatred and violence. What's the problem?
Right.
In addition, just last year, Opinions leadership asked everyone in the Opinions department to review the newsroom's social media guidelines, attach those guidelines to an email to the department for review, and reiterated in the email that the bedrock principle that our use of social media must never harm the journalistic integrity or the reputation of the Post. The poor judgment exhibited by your public comments regarding Charlie Kirk arise against the backdrop of documented performance concerns, which have been raised with you. She's the last, I think, Black columnist at the Post. Given these concerns and in light of your recent unacceptable Blue Sky post, we cannot tolerate the risk your performance poses to the Post. Please remove any reference to your affiliation with the Washington Post on any public-facing profiles immediately. You will receive a separate letter from the Post Benefits Department concerning your eligibility for any other Post benefits upon termination. Blah, blah, blah. Get your stuff and go.
I mean, it's just so funny because these, again, I mean, we're not pointing out anything that hasn't been pointed out before, but these free speech defenders, anti-censorship champions, anti-cancel culture champions. I mean, it's just, yeah, they're such snowflakes.
Indeed.
By the way, Brad made something for you that I'm sure he's going to want to show. Briahna Joy Gray, new rules. Pretty good.
Can I just admit and put this out in the ether that in terms of format, obviously not in terms of the political substance of the host, the Bill Maher show is my favorite. It's like the show that I would want to have.
Well, we got to do it. Guys,
and so consider this my audition tape. Yeah. I think everyone should at HBO. Hey, you know what you could do to improve ratings? You should fire Bill Maher
and replace him with Briahna Joy Gray
and hire Briahna Joy Gray to be the new host